Welcome back, everybody. Let's review what we covered in the first half of the training. We have been talking about the 4 fundamental principles for working with difficult children. We've covered 3 so far. Who remembers? What are they? That's right. First one, know your biases. What's next? That's right. Judgments can wait. And next? Very good. Find strengths. That's right. So we covered a lot this morning. We discussed, we did role plays, and we talked about how we can apply these to our work. So please lean into a partner and say, talk to them a little bit about the one thing you want to take from this morning's training and put into your practice. Excellent. Those are great ideas. Good job. All right, so let's go for the last one. The 4th fundamental principle is a reframe. So let's talk about what a reframe is. Reframing is a re-explanation or a new interpretation for a problem. So a reframe is you're looking at a situation like so through this frame, and then you get a different explanation, a different thought about it, and your frame shifts just a little bit over to here. And we do that sometimes when we have a negative interpretation, a negative belief, and hopefully we shift it up to something that's a little more neutral. Or if we're really good, to something that's a little more positive, which would be amazing. So that's a reframe. So who needs a reframe? Yeah, pretty much everybody. Anybody who is feeling negative, angry, seeing the worst in somebody else could use a reframe. It's often our clients, it's often our coworkers, and it's often us. It can be anybody at a particular time. So let's define it a little bit or decide what exactly it is. So an FFT, Functional Family Therapy, teaches these 2 parts of a reframe. The first one is a simple relabel. You take a situation and you relabel it to something else. It applies a benign motive or a reason that would be kind of natural for anybody in the situation. So, for example, you're driving on the road and some maniac is driving up like crazy, comes up right behind you, tailgating, then pulls out and passes in a dangerous way and cuts you off going that way. What's your first thoughts about that person? Yeah, they're crazy, they're a maniac, they're rude, they're disrespectful, they're dangerous. That's right. And so a relabel would take them from being dangerous and the biggest jerks you can imagine and say, well, perhaps they are extremely stressed and late for something that's so important to them. If you're super late to something important, do you drive a little more aggressively? Yeah, well, I do. So that would be something that we move it to something kind of neutral or something that is reasonable for everybody. The second one, a reframe, suggests something that might even be noble, a noble intent behind it. And nobility or nobleness means that you're actually doing it to help or support somebody else, doing it for somebody else. So in this case, the person driving in the car is a first responder, a surgeon, and she's got to get to the operating room to help somebody. Or his wife is having a baby in the backseat, trying to do something for somebody else. So that would be a frame where the behavior is actually noble. So, simple enough? All right, well, we'll see. Let's practice a little bit. First, we're going to go through the 4 steps. Step 1 is a demonstration of empathy. Now, that's really important because if someone's upset with somebody else and you just reframe that other person for them, they can sometimes feel like that you just made a big excuse and you were taking the other person's side, and that's not what we want. We don't want them to get more defensive. This is actually a technique to get them less defensive. So, we will first demonstrate some empathy. Then we're going to state the reason or the intention behind the other person. Not what they're doing, what they intend to do. And we're going to give that intention something positive. And the key question we're going to ask, why would a reasonable, rational, and decent person act that way? Well, that's a good question. We have to assume they're reasonable, rational, and decent. And that could be a big assumption at times. But that's what we're going to do. Then we're going to acknowledge that what they're doing actually isn't working. Now that's really important because that, again, takes away from the behavior and says this behavior is no good. We do not want to use a reframe to excuse behavior. So we pointed out yet again that it's not okay what they're doing. What their intentions are good, their behavior is not. And then, particularly if the other person's in the room, we try and tell them what's another way they could go. They got this good intent, but perhaps they could streamline or take that intent to some other way, change their behavior, and get more of what they want. So those are the 4 steps of reframing. Let's take a look and have a little practice. Here's the first one, classic family therapy reframe. So a teenager who's just tired of her parents nagging her all the time. Anyone ever heard that before? Yeah, I bet. Anyone ever said that before? Yeah, I bet. So, let's see, what do? Who's first step? We have to decide who needs the reframe. Yeah, okay. Well, who's upset? That's right, the daughter is upset. So if the daughter is upset, she's the one who needs the reframe. And who needs to be reframed for her? She's upset at who? That's right, her mother. So, there. And so now we need to decide, why would a reasonable, rational, and decent mother act that way? Well, let's brainstorm a little bit. Why would a mom nag? Yeah, good. That's one. She might be worried. She's worried about what her daughter's doing, of course. What else? Yeah, she's trying to explain or tell her how important something is. She's trying to teach her. Teaching's usually a really good one for parents. She's really trying to teach, so that's a good one. What else? Yeah, she's does not feel heard. Ooh, there it is. There's the big one. Usually people repeat themselves for two main reasons. One, they feel it's really important, and two, they're not feeling heard. So then they say it again, and then they say it louder, and they say it even louder, and that shows importance. So, let's try it. Let's go through the steps. So now we need to, let's say we got mom and daughter in the room, and they've been arguing, and so we look at the daughter, and we say, yeah, I understand how difficult it is when it doesn't feel like you can ever do anything right, when you're always in trouble, and mom's just always on your case. That's really hard. And I wonder, sometimes moms do that. They repeat themselves and they nag because they're worried. They got a big worry, and it's really, really important to them. And they're not feeling like they're being heard. And so when she doesn't feel heard, or she doesn't feel like you really get it, so she just keeps telling you over and over again. So that's the intent of hers. Then we tell mom, well, but unfortunately, mom, it's not really working though. Because the more you nag, the less she hears you. I know you want her to hear you more and let her know how important this is, but the way you're doing it makes her shut down even more. So that's unfortunate. You get less of what you want. So I wonder, mom, if next time you got something really important, you can sit her down and just, without repeating it, let her know this one's really important. And for you, daughter, I think if she comes out with you with an idea that's really important, or a belief that's really important, I think if you listened a little longer and acknowledge that you get it, you heard her and you understand what she's saying, my guess is that she will feel the less need to repeat herself to you. Okay, so there we go, a simple reframe like that. And then we check in and we look, and if they're nodding, they go, okay, they're buying it. They're going, okay, I'll accept that. And sometimes we put out a reframe that they won't accept. They say, no, mom's not worried, that's bull. Then we go, okay, all right, she's not worried. And then we'll try a different one. We'll come up with a different intention that she might have that the daughter might be able to buy. We'll keep trying it. She'll let us know. So, let's try another one more practice. How about a child who throws terrible fits when he doesn't get what he wants? So in this scenario, who needs to be reframed? Yeah, that's right. Anybody who is upset with that child. It could be you. It could be probably the parent. Let's say it's dad, and dad is just frustrated with this child, and he doesn't know what to do anymore. So, why would a reasonable, rational, decent child act that way? Yeah, let's see what. Yeah, because good. We always like that one. Children who have big feelings. They have big feelings, but they don't have words to describe their feelings, and they don't know how to talk it out, so they act it out. That's really good. I like that one. That one works a lot. What else? Yeah, okay, maybe because it works for him. That's right, because that's good. And that's what Dad's thinking, because he's spoiled and it's working for him. That's why he's throwing these fits. Good. What else? Yeah, sometimes maybe the child's mad. Maybe he's mad at Dad. And this is the only power he can get. He's just showing Dad, like, you can't control me all the time, and this is the power he's trying to take. Ooh, oh, that's a powerful one. Let's see if we can make that work. So first, I say, Dad, yeah, gosh, I understand how hard this is, because when a child's throwing a fit like that, it's so difficult. You don't know what to do, and despite all your efforts, he continues to do it. I understand it's really frustrating. I know that some children, they do it. Sometimes they do it when they're just really mad at their parents, or they're trying to demonstrate that they need a little bit of control or some power in the relationship. So if the child is particularly upset and they say, you know, this is their way of saying, Dad, you've hurt me. Dad, you've ignored me. Dad, I'm mad at you, I'm hurt by you. And this is the only way he has any power whatsoever to get back. And he throws these giant fits. And I know that's really unfortunate, because if that's true, it's getting the opposite. I mean, if he's asking for love and he wants something different from Dad, I mean, when he throws these fits, it just brings up anger in you and frustration. And that's the exact opposite of what he wants, which is too bad. I know. So I'm wondering if we can work with him to maybe come up with a different way he can express his feelings to you. And then I'm wondering if you'd be willing to brainstorm some ideas that you could communicate differently with him and allow him to express his feelings to you where he doesn't have to act it out, he can talk it out. I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, that was all right. That was all right. A little clunky in the middle there. I was throwing it out, but then if Dad's nodding, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to really sell it. And if Dad's shaking his head, I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to try something else. I said, well, you know, some kids, they just get away. I don't know. I'll try something else for him and see if that works. So, good. Not always so easy, but very possible to do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some home practice. So the home practice will be 3 scenarios that you get to do on your own. And those scenarios are, when you look at them, I want you to go through the whole steps. First, you got to decide who's going to be reframed, and then why would a reasonable, rational, decent person do that, and then go through the 4 steps and actually write out exactly what you would say to that person as if they were in the room. And then we'll come back and check in on those. And the 4th scenario is you get to reframe that person we talked about at the very beginning of the training. Remember we said that this will be helpful to you with someone you're really struggling or upset with? Well, you get a chance to practice that and see if you can reframe that person to yourself. It can be really difficult at times, but and if you have a hard time doing it, we'll help you when you come back tomorrow. So, thank you all. I look forward to that. I look forward to hearing what you have to say tomorrow. Thank you for your attention today.